Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You're going to see a working document that can turn into a bill very quickly. But we've agreed in principle on what needs to be done. Everybody's working in good faith. I was so encouraged last night. So yes, I think it's 100%. But I can tell you that there's not one senator or one congressperson that should go home for Christmas if it's not done. I don't know how you face the people that have lost rent, food assistance, shelter, the basic necessities of life. And we're going to say, well, we're going to go home and have a nice Christmas. Good luck.
Joe Manchin right there. I think something will get done, too. When will it get done? That I don't know. But a stimulus. And why does it matter? Because people are struggling like you can't believe. See it every day. You guys see it every day. Some of you are people who are struggling right now. And some of you out there are people who know people are struggling. You see it. You know, I pass by the church that's in my neighborhood. I'm a little bit rural. I tell you guys that all the time. But I pass by this church that, you know, normally in normal times go back several months, turn of the year kind of thing. On Tuesdays, they'd hand out food boxes. You may have 5 or 6 cars, and they'd have a small little U-Haul truck. Now it's an 18-wheeler, and the snaking through my neighborhood, it's about a mile and a half. It's a few hour wait to get food. People are struggling like you can't believe. And it's not just, you know, the whole thing is, it's not just, well, the average person who lost their, you know, their job and they're looking to find something else, or they're trying to figure out what the government's going to do, or the career that they chose and basically that's been shut down completely. You also have to look at the entire picture. People who are landlords, they're not getting any mortgage relief. We have not seen the tsunami that's coming when it comes to this. And I hate to say that to people because people are just trying to survive the day. But the tsunami, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with tsunamis, you know, the earthquake, a big earthquake in the ocean, a lot of times deep in the ocean, what'll happen is in the sea recedes. It gets kind of weird. It's like, why is the sea going out? So you'll be standing there in the ocean, and if you're ever on the ocean and you see the sea really recede out of nowhere, and I'm not just talking about it comes in, the little wave come back. I'm talking about it takes off and goes the other direction, out towards the deeper part of the ocean. You need to run for the hills. That's what's going on now with the economy. That's what's happening at this moment with the economy. We're going to have, you know, they talk about what's coming when it comes to the virus in mid-January, and we're now starting to see the effects of people visiting family members for Thanksgiving. January, February, March in particular is going to be ugly. I was talking to an attorney yesterday. He was filling in with me on my local show, and he said, you know, bankruptcies, a lot of these things, courts are closed. You're not seeing these things right now. That's coming next year. And it's going to be massive.
What I'm hearing from Delawareans up and down the state is that many cannot pay their rent or mortgage. Many have lost their jobs or are afraid that they're not going to be able to make it through the rest of this winter. And I think another round of relief checks would help make sure that our economy doesn't dip even deeper into a recession in the months that come between now and when we have the vaccine.
Yeah, and that's going to take a while. The vaccine isn't going to be tomorrow. We know that. We're just now starting to talk about the realities of, the British today came out. The Brits came out and they said, hey, you know, people who have allergic reactions to stuff, you're going to want to give a pass on this. I'm like, oh, wait, what? So people have, yeah, of course. No, people are allergic to water. There are people allergic to sunshine. There's going to be complications with this for some people. So you're going to have that. The second thing is you're going to still have a lot of people who aren't going to be ready to take it immediately, who could take it and probably will take it, but they're going to give it a while. And then you'll have everybody else. The goal is to get us back to some normal way of life sooner rather than later. And just because it's there doesn't mean people are going to take it.
So I think that the vaccine was our goal. That was number one because that was the way it ends. Plus, you do have an immunity. You develop immunity over a period of time. And I hear we're close to 15%. I'm hearing that. And that is terrific. That's a very powerful vaccine in itself. And just tremendous progress has been made.
It has been made. You'd say a lot about Trump, and there's a lot to say about Trump. But progress has been made big time. And people are still busting him up because he didn't buy more vaccines from Pfizer in July. And they're acting like, well, Trump has ruined it for everybody again because he didn't buy. He went out and bought 6 different vaccines, essentially sight unseen, hoping that 1 or 2 of them would work. Well, you didn't buy more in July. Buy more of what? Something that wasn't ready and hasn't been vetted? That's insane. Well, Pfizer's saying what? They're an American company. They're going to say no? We're not going to give you guys any more? Hell no. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do any of that crap. It works. Moderna, we'll see what happens with them. Their hearing is next week. Tomorrow they'll roll out all of the stuff when it comes to the actual final data for the Pfizer one, and they're talking about the 15th. It'll be ready to roll out in about. It's already been shipped in many places in unmarked, giant, huge, special containers inside of 18-wheelers. So that's great. And now we have to decide what's going to happen here as Biden takes over. Because Biden is, I'm going to throw it back out there. Biden's going to be the president-elect probably come Monday. I know there's lawsuits out there, and we'll touch on that in a second. But at this moment in time, this is where we're at.
At least 100 million COVID vaccine shots into the arms of the American people in the first 100 days. 100 million shots in the first 100 days. That includes healthcare professionals, people in long-term care, and as soon as possible, it will include educators. This will be the most efficient mass vaccination plan in U.S. history. I credit everyone who's has gotten us up to this point.
Except for Trump. It's going to be a big task. It's going to be huge. It's going to be massive, and it's going to get done. They said within 96 hours of approval, which should be tomorrow, it will be out and ready to use. So that means tomorrow being what? The 10th? So you're going to have 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, so 15th. By the 15th, it'll be ready to roll. That's what people want to hear. That's what people want to hear. When are you going to have this thing ready? When are we going to have a chance to get this thing? When can we get back to normal? And I keep saying educators need to be there because parents, you understand this more than anything. It's driving you crazy. Your kids are struggling. They're having psychological issues. Some of them are putting on pounds. They're sitting around the house. You're at home with them. You're having to take time off work. You've had to maybe quit your job. 3 to 4 million people's had to leave their job that wasn't being shut down to stay at home and work with the children because they had nowhere to go. People were ready to get back to it. I'm ready to get back to it. It's going to happen. At the end of the day, though, know this. It isn't going to be perfect. It isn't going to be perfect in the sense that not everybody's going to get vaccinated right away. Not everybody's going to do it. Some people are, some people won't. States across the country are still going to have in place things like you have to wear your mask. And this is the way I feel about that. Look, if I go get my ass vaccinated, sorry you didn't, but I did. So that's a negative. I want to fight that, fine. If you ask me to wear it inside your place of business, I got zero problems with that. That's a business thing. But some people aren't. And if everything's available to you and you choose not to do it for whatever reason outside of you being allergic to it, that's a you thing. So the rest of us, shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of something you don't want to do. It's like today's world we live in. Kids got a peanut allergy in school. Well, it's deadly. Rather than tell everybody, hey, Jimmy's going to eat over here at lunch. Everybody else, you can go enjoy your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or whatever you have. He's going to eat over here. We just tell everybody, well, nobody can have peanuts. It can't be that way. It can't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Who will be the president? Well, come Monday is when they vote. The Electoral College, more and more lawsuits are coming in. Yesterday was safe harbor deadline.
Tuesday is a key electoral college deadline, Safe Harbor Day, when federal law requires states to resolve all election-related disputes before the Electoral College meets next Monday to cast their votes for president and vice president. President Trump's legal team and its allies have lost at least 39 cases in court, but the president...
Look, here's the deal. End of the day, president can beg all he wants. It's not happening the way that he thought. It's been killed everywhere for all intents and purposes. Yesterday, Alito, Supreme Court, got it there and said, sorry, not going to hear it. Good luck to you. Now, 4 states are suing. Texas is leading the charge.
The Supreme Court has denied a request from Pennsylvania Republicans who argued that millions of votes in the state have been unconstitutionally cast by mail. The court dismissed the case without hearing it. But another lawsuit is now headed to the court. The Attorney General of Texas is suing Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Wisconsin, claiming the changes those states made to their voting procedures during the pandemic are unlawful.
And joined by them are several other states that all voted for Trump that feel that what they've done is unlawful and I guess unduly affects them. So I don't know what's going to happen. When I was talking to Barry Marchand, who's a big attorney, about the way that states work this. Normally when states do states, it immediately goes to the Supreme Court. But he goes, usually those are things like water rights. You know, right here at this point where you think your state ends and they think their state begins, there's water issues and they're battling over that. This is a different thing. And, you know, he told me, which we all know, they don't want to get involved in politics. And this is politics. States have their rights to run their elections as they seem fit. So I don't think this is going anywhere. He said this is mostly a press release rather than any actual chance to overturn it or to do anything. And you're also asking these judges to essentially say, hey, you 4 states, we're going to nullify all of the votes that your people cast. It's not going to happen. It's not. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Hope you're doing well. Hello Fresh, America's #1 meal kit. I love it. Got home last night. Guess what? Knew exactly what I was going to have to eat. It was pretty simple. It's kind of what it is. You walk in, you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to get, and this is what it is. It's fall. I'm back eating the family fresh. You know, so they got the family, recipes, and they've got the low calorie and the vegetarian. And this one it was pretty nice, a little meatloafy. It's delicious. 23 weekly recipes, so some for everybody. So you got the family friendly and you got the vegetarian low calorie. When Jack was here, we did family. When he left for a while, I did the low calorie. It's all delicious. It's incredible. And you're going to enjoy it. And the meals change throughout the years as it starts to get, into spring, the changes. In the summer, it's a little bit lighter, almost has a fiesta, a lot of Mexican food stuff. It's incredible. Easy to do. Save money. 40% versus shopping at the grocery store. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes before you pick what you're going to eat. They got a recipe card. You cook it up and away you go. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use code Benson right now. $80 off, including free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. $80 off and free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
We think by spring we're going to be in a position that nobody would have believed possible just a few months ago.
I think that's going to happen. I think by spring, we'll have enough. If we get to 50, 60%, that herd immunity as far as the vaccination, people that have been exposed to have the antibodies, things like that, we're going to be out and about. By midsummer, I think we'll be in a world where we were pre-coronavirus. Now, the question remains, is this endemic? And it feels that way. And the doctors I've talked to feel that this thing is going to just be an ongoing thing. It's never really going anywhere. They'll have flare-ups here and there, but by and large, this is kind of what it is. And eventually, they'll continue to to improve the vaccines and grow them. So hopefully and we don't know how long the vaccine lasts. That's the other thing. We have no idea how long this thing lasts. Does it last 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years? Does it last forever? I don't know if it lasts forever. I would assume it'd last at least a year, because I can't see us as a nation going back every 3 months. Because I think at some point in time, people are going to be like, we're just going to have to learn to live with this thing in a much different way. But I do think it's going to change sooner rather than later. But we're going to go through some tough times, and that includes financially. And it's funny, when I talk about finances, the amount of blowback I get. And I always say this. It's so funny because the people that always, they'll tell me, well, we need to do this and we need to do that and we need to stay at home, safe orders, and you make fun of Gavin Newsom for all the things he does, and you make fun of, and your governor in Arizona doesn't do anything, and Katie Brown in Oregon, she does this, and they start breaking down all the people. And I start laughing, and they all talk about how stay at home, we need to make sure all the elderly get everything, we make sure, and they're like, and at the end of the time, though, I go, well, how's your business? Well, I'm able to work from home. I'm lucky. So you're fine that you shut down everybody else's place. You're fine that you decide to close down everybody else's livelihood because it doesn't affect you. Life's about experiences, right? And when that experience hits you, you have a different tune. When you have no skin in the game, when you're not an employee of a company that is downsizing because they have to, whether it be just in hours or across the board, but you're okay to do your gig, you're okay with it. But if it's you, I bet you sing a different tune. Oh, well, I don't know about that. No. Let me tell you how the text goes and the tweets go. It's all the same. And it always ends, well, I'm lucky I get to work at home. Well, you're lucky you get to work at home. Other people, not so much. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So here's a truth that our party needs to hear. No one will listen to our message if they don't believe that we're listening to them.
Washington insiders seem more concerned with winning arguments.
And most of us are sick and tired of all the drama. Most Americans want the same thing. They want humble, tolerant, respectful, and effective leaders. Regardless of whether they're Republican or Democrat, they want all this nonsense to stop. And they want us to just sit down and figure out a way to come up with bipartisan, common sense solutions to the serious problems that are out there.
Absolutely. That right there is Larry Hogan. All right. So here you got a guy who is governor, a really bright cat, GOP, governor of Maryland, talking about what? Bipartisanship. Last night I was talking to my business partners, and they range all over the place. But, they all, and some of them have extreme views as what they would love to see, but they realize that that's not a reality because it's a utopia, and you can't live in a utopia because utopias don't exist. But we need to build something stronger than what we have now with the two-party system, because a majority of us lean a little left, lean a little right. And our voices are drowned out by the fact that there's too many people on the extremes that scream loud. And because of their screaming, they get the press. And they end up speaking for both parties. And they're not speaking for a majority of the people. They're not. And the media is partially to blame for this. And part of that is because the media needs something that's entertaining. I've told you this over and over again. The media, the establishment media that everybody hates, the CNN, the Foxes, whatever, the MSNBCs, depending on, where you to go to get your echo chamber information, they're a business. At the end of the day, they're not a charity. At the end of the day, somebody writes them a paycheck, and for some of them, it's a huge paycheck. So to get a huge paycheck, you have to have revenue. And to have revenue, you have to be interesting. We're no longer in a day and age when facts matter. We're no longer in a day and age where truth matters. We're in a day and age where all that matters is my truth, my facts, and my feelings. And that's insane. We've got to stop that. We do. We've managed to turn a virus that is disruptive and for some deadly into a political theater that should never have been. We've allowed governors and states to overstep because they're not listening to science. It's funny that the left always screams at the right, you don't listen to science. You guys are science deniers. But then they'll go in and close down restaurants and do all kinds of things. And if you ask where's the science, they don't really have the science. It just feels right. Because we've allowed the loud and the ridiculous to hijack. Hell, we've allowed science to be hijacked for political purposes. That's insane.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, for one, refuse to give in and accept that anger has taken the place of the common good. I refuse to give up and accept that the best days of the GOP and of America are a thing of past. I come from the get to work and get things done school of politics. I still believe that the party of Lincoln and Reagan is the last best hope for our nation. And I still believe that America remains the last best hope of man on earth.
Yeah. And the GOP's blowing it. This stuff that they're doing with the suits, and I have zero problems. Let me phrase this so before you guys send your vitriol and hate. I have zero problems with Trump and everything taking the legal path that they're taking. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think he was cheated out of anything. But you know what? We should always want to make our elections safer, more secure. I have zero problems with any of those things, but you've also have to have proof. You can't stand out in front of a judge's courtroom, talk about fraud, stolen elections, and then walk in there and you tell the judge, well, we don't really have any fraud. As one judge said, you're standing out in front of my courtroom talking about fraud and stolen elections, and you come in my courtroom and you have none of that, and you're not even claiming that. It's a bad look. It is. We're at each other's throats. And it's sad. Look, I'm about as fair and as real as you're going to. I'm not. I'm an opinion head. I'm not a journalist. I want to be a journalist. That's not my gig. I'm not a journalist. But I'm about as real as you're going to get and as straightforward as it is. The crazy thing about all of this is I'm watching two parties beat the crap out of themselves and each other for no reason. Oh, we've got our beliefs this, we've got our beliefs that. We want. Look, I'm 100%. I have my beliefs as well, based on truth, based on opinion, based on the fact that I've looked at the facts. But it's amazing to watch what we've done. And now we're in a situation where the echo chambers are really getting bad. People are leaving Twitter to go to Parler on the right side of the aisle. That echo chamber. And that's a scary thing. Because the left doesn't know what the right's doing, the right doesn't know what the left's doing, and nobody trusts each other, and we can't have that. You don't have to like somebody's politics, but you shouldn't hate them. And that's what we have now. And part of that, and a good portion of that, is because the way that we do things now is ridiculous. We've now become to the point where how I vote is who I am. And if you vote against me, you voted against me. You haven't voted for Joe Biden. You voted against me as a human being. And that is an ugly thing to do. It is. If we were on a sinking ship, you know what we would do? We'd probably cut it in half and then wonder why it didn't float. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. So yesterday, you guys remember the woke Santa, right? You know, little kid gonna go see Santa, sitting there, you know, across the table from Santa because we're in the time of social distancing. Ask Santa, Santa, what would you like? Well, it's been a really rough year, Santa. I don't know if you're aware of this. And I'd like a few things. Now, remember, he wants a few things, and a few things include the regular stuff, but he asked for something else.
What? No guns. Nerf guns? No, not even a Nerf gun. No, if your dad wants to get it for you, that's fine, but I can't bring it to you. Well, what else would you like?
Well, he asked for a Nerf gun, and the mom always has to declare a Nerf gun. Like, I don't, what other gun are you asking Santa for? I'd like a Glock. Hey, Santa, I'm 8. Is there any way you can give me like a Desert Eagle? Maybe a Luger? I'd like something a little bit older that says style and panache. How about that? A little Ruger. How about, you got anything over there? Maybe a 6-shooter from the Western days. Give me a collectible, but I'd like it to really shoot.
Lots of other toys. There's Legos.
Didn't ask for those.
Bicycles.
Didn't ask for that. And then, of course, he cries. So that Santa's gone. They surprised the kid yesterday. And it was just a sad situation. And it didn't have to be that way. It was stupid. You know. But I also start to realize, who protects the Nerf gun owners? Who does? Who can protect the Nerf gun owners of the world? There's a plenty of them. So I decided yesterday I was going to start a brand new organization. It's a phenomenal organization. Because we need to. It's from woke people. From crazy moms who believe that if you buy your kid a Nerf gun that somehow you've officially put him or her in a militia. That if you dare think about getting your child a Nerf gun, that somehow, somewhere down the road, he will be the shooter somewhere. Or she will do something. No. We need to protect the rights of all Nerf gun owners everywhere. That's why I created the NRA, the Nerf Rifle Association. So they want to ban or limit all access to your high-capacity Nerf guns and take away your God-given Second Amendment Nerf rights? Well, no nerfing way, buddy. Give them an inch and they'll legislate your Nerf gun ownership to death. Meanwhile, rock stars, social media influencers, drug cartels, psychopaths, and out-of-control 6-year-olds on a wild sugar high can simply buy a Nerf gun on the black market along with gummy bears and chocolate-covered boogers. That's why we formed the Nerf Rifle Association, to protect your right to defend yourself anytime, anywhere, from alien invasions, made-up monsters, and their friends. With bright, multicolored soft foam projectiles, they are as much fun to squeeze as they are to shoot at mom and dad. Here at Nerf Rifle Association, we stand by our motto, which is, you can have my crazy, wacky Nerf Zuka when you pry it from my tiny, child-sized hands. The Nerf Rifle Association. Give us liberty, or give us Nerf. Nerf Rifle Association takes no responsibility for Nerf accidents, deaths, schoolyards, monkey bar shootouts, sandbox rumbles, or broken knickknacks. It's a good organization. It's free to join. So we have to have Nerf Rifle Association because apparently there's another NRA, but they're in a lot of trouble. We are not going to be anything other than a straightforward organization out to protect the Nerf gun owners around the world, to fight for themselves and to protect their family from monsters, alien invasions, and any other things that may happen, including being raided by your best friends at night over cookies. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us and text the program. Do love hearing from every single one of you. Car Shield gives you 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And you right there, you choose the shop. They get them paid directly. You pay a very small deductible. It's the way it works. It's the beauty of it. Whether your car is 5,000, 150,000 miles on it, means nothing to them. They're here to take care of you. They're here to protect you from cover repairs. When that check engine light comes on, no matter what it is, CarShield's got your back. They've got plans to start as low as $99 a month. Call them up. Be specific. Maybe you're going to say, hey, you know what? I'm more worried about my engine and the transmission. Maybe you're worried about the inside of the car, the electronics, the air conditioning, those kind of things. CarShield has a plan that is right for you to fit your budget. It is truly awesome. My cars are covered. You should get your cars covered as well. Over 1 million drivers have been served by CarShield. That's awesome. Protect yourself from car repairs. Protect your wallet and your car. Call CarShield today. They're going to take care of you in a lot of ways. And I'm telling you guys right now, be specific on what it is you're looking for. 800-665-2157. 800-665-2157. Code Benson, when you use that, you save yourself 10% right there. Or go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Use code Benson as well to save 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
What the hell are you doing?
A Lifetime original mini-movie.
The cook?
He has a secret recipe that's going to change the world.
Harlan claims to have some secret recipe.
A secret recipe? Spare me. Who the hell are you? Harlan Sanders, the new chef.
Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders in A Recipe for Seduction. Premieres December 13th at noon. Only on Lifetime. Presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, I'm watching that. First of all, Arlen Sanders, as we all know, one of my heroes. Secondly, it's 15 minutes, and it's hilariously goofy. It's like a telenovela over the top. And if you've not seen Mario Lopez, he's so, A.C. Slater, Mario Lopez. He's got the full look, but like of a sexy Colonel Sanders, right? Like he's got the white shirt, but it's kind of undone down a little bit. He's got the black scarf tie. He's got the glasses, the Horman, Buddy Holly glasses. And then his hair's kind of white, but still dark. It's a little salt and peppery. And it's just funny. It's 15 minutes. And the poster's awesome. We all have our secrets. His just happens to be A Recipe for Seduction. Sign me up, kids. Sign me up. It's so stupid. I'm going to watch it. Oh, my goodness. This is it. When you think 2020 can't get any weirder, you're like, hold my beer. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Speaking of entertainment, people are pissed now at HBO and Warner Brothers for what they're doing I think it's starting pretty much December 25th, which is releasing their movies simultaneously that would be in the theaters straight to HBO Max.
Christopher Nolan's Tenet was one of the big movie release experiments of the pandemic.
I need some idea of the threat we face.
He's a champion for movie theaters, and Tenet got a theater release from Warner Brothers, though given the pandemic, it didn't make the kind of money the studio would have liked. And Nolan isn't happy with Warner Brothers' plan to release all movies next year in theaters and streaming simultaneously. Telling The Hollywood Reporter the studio is dismantling the movie-going machine. The decision makes no economic sense. It's dysfunction, not disruption. And instead of working for the greatest movie studio, now filmmakers and stars are working for the worst streaming service.
No, here's the thing. I don't know if they're going to do it forever. And maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Some movies, like for me, and I try to explain this to people, I love the movie-going experience. I love the movie-going experience because there's nothing like it. I love driving to the theater, know what I'm going to get, and I'm one of these people. I love to get there early. I love to watch all the previews. I have my popcorn. I always get popcorn. I have my, like here we have, reusable drink cups. You buy them, you pay like $7 or $8. It goes to the schools, but for $1, they refill them as much as you want. So you bring that there, and I get a hot dog, or maybe I get some candy, and I sit down, and I love the experience. I love the sound. I love the quality. That's never going to change for me. That isn't going to change for me. I will continue to do that no matter how many things that you put in there. I also recognize, and I tell people this, We're at a different time. They've been trying to figure out how to do this over time. And the movie industry has saw the disruptor that became Netflix and then Hulu and then everybody else doing their own streaming thing. But you're also in a situation where somebody like Warner Brothers and HBO, do they really have a choice at this moment? No, because I don't know how long until we get back into a regular way of going to see films over and over again. You'd like to think that it's going to be April, May, June, but it may not. It may not. And the other side of things, too, for a lot of people, it's expensive as hell going to see a movie. You take a family of 4, it costs you $100, $120. If you're going to get some food and stuff, that's for a lot of people. That's a run. I remember one day I took my little brothers and my son. We saw it in. It cost me like $130. I bought him food and we did all stuff, and I'm like, I don't know how regular, like a family of 4 does this on a regular basis. Normally, it's just me going by myself. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. I do, kids. Oh, we're getting you over the hump today, and it's my Friday. I love it. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
If authorized, tens of millions of vaccine doses will be available this month, and we'll get it distributed very quickly. We'll have that all set, and hundreds of millions more will quickly follow. Every American who wants the vaccine will be able to get the vaccine.
Donald Trump right there. Every American who wants to get it will get it, but how many will get it? That is a big question, because there's skepticism in some communities. African-American community? Hispanic community? Yep.
71% of African Americans personally know someone who's died or been hospitalized with COVID, 61% of Latinos. But Dr. John McCormick of the Hispanic Health Research Center in Brownsville, Texas, says he's not surprised that so few in those communities express a willingness to be vaccinated.
The federal government and the president have been so denigrating to Latinos.
And now must win minority communities' trust in a COVID vaccine that has only a limited track record.
And by the way, again, that's a bunch of crap. You've had Democrats running around for the last several months telling everybody that Trump and this thing was never going to work, wasn't going to get done, these things take time. Then when it started to realize that they're getting closer and closer, you've had many of them, including the presidential candidate and everybody else, who've kind of poo-pooed this thing as if Trump is the one who designed this. He was up in his room watching Fox and Friends, doing his thing with his lab coat on and the beaker and putting it all together, and somehow this is Trump's serum of evil. And it's because of his rhetoric? Settle down. You got a place in this as well, guys. You do. You do. So you've got that side of it. On the other side of it, you have doctors who are telling people, you know what, maybe don't do it at first.
Even 30 to 35% of physicians are telling patients at this point, maybe wait 6 months to see how these vaccines all unfold. I think we're going to be at a period in March and April where it's that last inch that we're going to fail at, the idea of getting the needle into the arm, because we have done nothing in this country to prepare the public for what these vaccines mean. We need to tell the story of their safety, of their efficacy, why they are what we need to do right now. I worry about that.
That's Michael Osterholm, part of the COVID team for Biden. He's right, though. A couple doctors that I know, I play golf and work with and stuff. They'll tell me all the time. I'm going to give it a while. I'm going to give it a bit. I'm going to give it a bit and see. I have other doctors like I'm going to take it. We'll see what happens. I'm not really worried about it. It's up to you. If it's there, I'm not worried that I'm going to explode. I'm not worried that I'm going to grow a third eye. I'm not worried about any of those things. I'm just, I'm not. I can't live my life in that kind of fear. If you're given this, look, if I'm taking it too, here's the other thing. I'm taking my mask off. The minute I get the second dosage, the mask comes off. I'm moving on with my life. If you ask me to wear a mask in your store, I respect that. In your establishment that I may be hanging out in, I expect that. Outside of that, I'm moving on with my life. I think most people feel that way. That should be an incentive, right? Like, if you guys get this, you don't have to wear a mask anymore. Well, he did say I don't have to wear the mask anymore. So, man, it's a good idea. Let's do it. But when you have doctors saying that, it's understandable. Absolutely understandable. So while there may be a ton of vaccines ready to roll, doesn't mean people are going to rush out to take it. And then you got to figure out where are you even going to take it. And remember, these are 2 shots, which is going to drive all of us crazy because as we all know in this nation, we are what? Nation of convenience. And if it's inconvenient, we may not do it.
Across the country, more than 104,000 people are hospitalized. This as vaccine hope begins to crystallize. CVS and Walgreens revealing plans to administer the vaccine. Walgreens saying it's creating 800 to 1,000 hub locations to store the ultra-cold vaccine. CVS saying they have 44,000 facilities and will put 9,000 pharmacists on the road to give the shots.
There you go. So we'll be ready to roll. But it's going to be up to people. And whether you do or do, that's a you. Personal choice. I'm a huge believer in personal choice. A massive believer. You do what's best for you. Even if you think that they're going to put a chip in you and you're going to be followed by, aliens or whatever, and you don't want to do it, that's fine. I consider and go, things a little insane, but whatever. Or that you think that you're going to, I don't know, autism or whatever. Fine. Go for it. I got 0 problems with that. But if it's available, are you going to take it? I'm going to take it. Oh, you're just one of those. What am I? I'm going to go take it. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm going to take it. I've said early on, because I'm kind of it's weird. I'm one of these guys that's like, not a big, I don't like going out and doing a lot of things, kind of a loner, I do my own thing. I like, that. And everybody's like, well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't party. I'm very much a teetotaler. But early on, I applied for some of these things. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll be a guinea pig. You're weird, Chad. I am weird. What about allergies? That's the big thing. Know this. People are allergic to a lot of things. Sunlight. People are, not just vampires. People are allergic to water. People are allergic to a lot of things. Peanuts. We always hear about peanuts. But what about people who really have some allergies? What are they going to do?
They put the vaccine into thousands of NHS workers. This is the National Health Services, basically the people that run the government healthcare there in the UK and are rolling out the vaccine. In 2 of those thousands, they had an allergic reaction. But these people suffer from severe allergies. They carry a device like an EpiPen, so these people have problems with allergies. They took the EpiPen device and they were fine, and they're now recovering.
Yeah, so they're saying if you've got severe allergies to certain things like whatever kind of allergy, like severe allergy, the people that have super severe allergies, they do have to carry an EpiPen. They're advising them that maybe you shouldn't be getting the shot. And how that works from here on, I don't know. Because I don't know how long this thing's going to be around where we're talking about it 24/7. God knows I'd like to get rid of this thing sooner rather than later because it's a situation where it's an everyday, and it's getting so much worse. Hospitals are under pressure. You're seeing that tremendously. And then you've got the business side of it, which is just absolutely awful. We're no closer to a stimulus bill you would think. You'd like to think we are. And some people are saying we're going to get there.
You're going to see a working document that can turn into a bill very quickly. But we've agreed in principle on what needs to be done. Everybody's working in good faith. I was so encouraged last night. So, yes, I think it's 100%. But I can tell you that there's not one senator or one congressperson that should go home for Christmas if it's not done. I don't know how you face the people that have lost rent, food assistance, shelter, the basic necessities of life. And we're going to say, well, we're going to go home and have a nice Christmas. Good luck.
So they'll go do that. Will they have a nice Christmas? Yeah, because they'll figure a way to get it done because you're going to be impeding on their plans. And as we all know, government likes to make sure that their plans are never impeded on. But you still have people out there who are struggling in everyday aspects of life, who cannot put food on the table on a consistent basis right now, where a year ago they had everything. They had a little money in the bank. Their jobs were fine. And now they've been obliterated by poor management when it comes to how this thing's been managed, by inconsistency through the government, by bizarre, archaic, wacky things that governors and mayors and people across the country have done, where they've decided to declare some sort of fiefdom as their own and to throw down stay at home, don't leave the house, hide under your bed kind of rules, crushing small businesses everywhere. And now those people find themselves in situations where they're not fighting to say, hey, I'm going to be late on my car payment. They're thinking to themselves, your car's going to get repoed.
What I'm hearing from Delawareans up and down the state is that many cannot pay their rent or mortgage. Many have lost their jobs or are afraid that they're not going to be able to make it through the rest of this winter. And I think another round of relief checks would help make sure that our economy doesn't dip even deeper into a recession in the months that come between now and when we have the vaccine.
Yeah. But even at that point, as much we could have 200 million doses. Oh, by the way, 200 million doses is 100 million people. Right. 300 million. We could have all of those things ready. But if people aren't willing to take it, it's for naught. I have a feeling it is going to be probably May before we feel like we got 40 to 60% of the people vaccinated. Because while some people go out immediately, I'm going to just go get the vaccination, get it over with. Some people will do that, and then they won't get the second shot. Others will go out and get it done, and then they're going to be looking around going, well, a lot of people haven't. And again, that's your choice. That's your choice. But at the end of the day, the sooner that we can get to that herd immunity, the better it's going to be for all of us. This thing isn't going anywhere. But can we mitigate it enough that it's more of just a little nuisance, that we don't talk about it, that we're not wearing masks 24/7, that we're not being told by the likes of Gretchen Whitmire and Gavin Newsom and Cuomo that you need to shelter in place and hold on and hide underneath the bed. Babylon B had the best headline yesterday about California. I tweeted it out. If you guys want to take a picture, take a look at it. It is just it's what you sense would be real. Newsom issues a double stay-at-home order where you have to stay at a smaller house inside your original house. And that's kind of what it feels like for a lot of people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. We got a little What's Trending come up. We're going to talk about Trump once again losing his court battles, or the GOP losing court battles, or whoever's running what across the country when it comes to his bid to overturn the election. I at this point, I don't even know what's going on. Safe Harbor was yesterday, and they're voting, I believe, Monday, the Electoral College. So we're going to touch a little bit on that. Legacy Box. Looking for a holiday gift that's amazing, a gift that you can give to your family that is something that will last a lifetime? This is what it's about. All of us have old, antiquated media. So, like, my mom's got VHS tapes from my dad that we've got, and I don't have any. I've got a couple pictures of them, and that's it. And she's got all of these photo, books, and the stuff's just kind of put in there, and the pictures are a mess. And you take these things, right? Your old antiquated media, including like 8mm, like great grandma's, wedding and stuff on little 8mm that was filmed, and you order Legacy Box. You put it in a box that arrives at your house. You ship it off to them. And they take that antiquated media and they digitize it. And then they get it back to you in a more consumable, modern-based media, like the cloud, like a thumb drive and a DVD. And it is incredible. It truly is incredible. I'm stunned at what they do. And along the way, you also can follow where they are in the process of digitizing your stuff. So it's bringing your memories to life, and it's saving those memories. It's incredible. Right now, they got an amazing deal for the holidays. Go to legacybox.com/Benson. Take advantage of this limited time offer. What is it? 60% offer. Exclusive offers, not going to last forever. When you get the box, you send it in whenever and follow along. You're going to get the box back with DVD, cloud, thumb drive, and your old media. Go now. Save 60%. LegacyBox.com/Benson. LegacyBox.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Darn, that climate change. Batten down the hatches. It's Topical Storm Chad. Headed your way.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? A lot of stuff is trending, the usual stuff. A lot of election stuff trending. Of course, Trump is yesterday. The Samuel Alito led the charge. And the first that tried to get its way to the Supreme Court for Trump and the election and to overturn Pennsylvania. And guess what happened? Guess what happened? They refused to hear the case. So there's no merits. They refused to hear it. The way that it works in the Supreme Court is people will offer it up. And by the way, the Supreme Court takes very, very few cases a year. And they take the ones that they believe, first of all, that is based in law. That there's an issue here when it comes to the law, not politics. And that will have a wide-ranging impact if something's decided. So what ends up happening is they go and, you know, the Supreme Court, they went up there and they said, we want you to hear this about overturning the election in Pennsylvania. Alito and them, they all looked, they talked about it. They said, no, we're not going to hear this. There's no basis here for anything. And they sent it back down. And so that was it. Now, Texas and several other states are now suing Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Pennsylvania because they believe that somehow that laws were broken in the way that people voted there, and that unduly affects them. And so the Supreme Court will probably hear that quickly, and by hear that, they'll talk about it. Whether they take it up, I couldn't tell you. Top of that, Elon Musk has confirmed that he's bounced out of California, like so many other people, and he has moved to Texas because he's, like everybody else, I think, had enough of what's going on in California. So, yet another one. What people say, well, who cares? Well, here's the reason. Like a lot of these companies, they're leaving because they've had enough. The ridiculous, and people say, well, it shouldn't be a big deal. It is a big deal because what they do is they take jobs. And if you're in California, you're watching jobs leave. And when jobs leave, guess what happens? Tax revenue leaves. When tax revenue leaves, what happens? Oh, see where we go here? Oh, yeah, I see that. But I understand why, I left California. I loved California, but I'd had enough of it. I'd had enough of California, and I decided that I was going to leave, and other people are deciding the same thing, and there's a reason for that. It's just insane.
I just heard today Elon Musk was moving to Texas. So the smartest man on the planet is decided to move away from the dumbest governor in the United States. So when the smartest guy in the world says, I'm moving, what's that say to the rest of us?
That maybe people should start thinking about who they vote in. California's a wonderful place. But at the same time, if you have to work 90 hours a day to live in a one-bedroom, one-bath hole, doesn't matter how nice it is. You don't see it. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Flying by, Having fun, kicking ass for everyone. It's a Chad Benson show. Ooh, ooh. I was just singing that, goofing around, and Kimmy, who's in for Phil today, she's all, please let that be your new intro. So there you go, Kimmy, that's for you. A little sing song right there. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. The vaccine. Here's a question. We've touched on it briefly. Could you have to take it for work?
In the vast majority of cases, you're what's called an employee at will, meaning you can be fired for any reason that's not discrimination. So if they say that's a requirement of the workplace, that's going to be a requirement of the workplace. The but is that there will be exemptions. For example, if there's a medical reason that you can't get it, that would be an exemption. In certain states, there can be religious exemptions or moral objections. But on the whole, people may be required by their employer to get that vaccine.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And it's weird because if you're sick, that's not good. If you can spread sickness, that's not good. What's that hurts? It hurts the bottom line of the employer, and it also hurts the employee, and it hurts other people inside of the office as well. Now, I've talked to a few attorneys, and while, yeah, what Dan Abrams right there, our good friend and good buddy, who, of course, of Live PD fame, rest in peace, Live PD, is saying is very real, but most employers will probably try to entice you rather than saying, hey, you have to get this. They'll say, if you get both shots, we'll give you an extra $300 bonus. If you get both shots, we'll give you, you can have that day off and another day. Those are the kind of things, because you're also, as you're trying to protect your business and do the best that you possibly can revenue-wise, make sure that people are healthy so that you don't have to worry about stuff. You can also put yourself in a position where if somebody goes and gets it and they get sick and they say, there's that as well. Now, the government is a different thing.
I don't think you're going to see any government action unless there was full FDA approval. And even then, it would be local governments. And even then, I don't expect it to happen, although it has happened in the past with regard to smallpox and measles. We have seen local governments require vaccines.
That can't. So I asked Barry Markson, big attorney out here in Arizona yesterday, could they force you? He's like, just like Dan Abrams said, yeah. Here's the thing. When it comes to the betterment of the community and the at large, they could. Now, I don't think they will, but could they? That may be something that we could face down the line. I doubt we will. But the reality is I think now that employers see this thing coming here, trying to figure out how they're, first of all, keeping their head above water. Secondly, how are they going to navigate this, what I'm assuming, at least for a while, is going to be a complex kind of area for some people who want to come back to work but didn't get the vaccine. And people, and some will really say, I don't really care, I'll get sick. But that's going to be the frustration. And employers are going to have to figure out how they deal with that.
If it's a private stadium or an airline where they're going to simply say, sorry, you can't use our facility, you can't come here, you can't ride our plane unless you have been vaccinated. It's possible to also say unless you've had a test within a certain amount of time. But that's the place where I expect it to happen first. The last place is probably going to be governments.
Yeah. And that's something to think about. So you're thinking about jobs. Like, okay, so my job's going to require me to get it. If I want to keep this job, I'm going to have to go get it. All right, so I'll go get it. Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, they're not forcing me, but they're enticing me, so maybe I'll do that. But what about the other side of things? Hey, you want to come see this movie? You have to have a vaccine. Hey, you want to go see this concert? You have to be vaccinated. Hey, you want to go to this sporting event? You have to be vaccinated. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Is there establishment? It's going to be very interesting to see the way this. We're going to open up a whole new can of worms that's totally different that we haven't even thought about fighting about. Like, this is a whole new political fight that's ready to roll. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Do love hearing from all of you. Trump, again, still trying to figure out how. I don't even know if it's a situation where he's trying to win the election or not. I couldn't tell you. Because there's a portion of me, I think, that thinks he's completely over this. And he's building up a base of people that will always believe that this thing was stolen from him and there's nothing you're going to be able to ever do to change people's minds. And that's the way that they believe. Yesterday was what they called the Safe Harbor Day.
Tuesday is a key electoral college deadline, Safe Harbor Day, when federal law requires states to resolve all election-related disputes before the Electoral College meets next Monday to cast their votes for president and vice president. President Trump's legal team and its allies have lost at least 39 cases in court, but the president vowing to keep up his fight and continuing to make baseless claims about the election results.
And you've got Texas out there suing other states, and other states have joined them in suing other states. And then, the Supreme Court at least took a look at something rather quickly.
This was a quick and blistering defeat. The order, just one sentence, denied. It took the Supreme Court just 34 minutes to reach this decision, flat out rejecting a request to throw out more than 2 million ballots in Pennsylvania. No reason given, no dissents from any of the justices on the bench, including those President Trump appointed. But it sends a clear message to the president that the outcome of the election will not change. He lost this election by more than 7 million votes.
Now, it's not how many votes you lost, it's where you lost those votes. So Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, they're looking at those. How? Can we change any of those things? Can we do any of those things? Yesterday, the Supreme Court here in Arizona threw out, they listened and then threw out the GOP's hearing here. And you've got issues, but you've also got issues of extremist, insane people who have bought into this cult-like thing where we had somebody tweet yesterday from a Stop the Steal group or whatever they call themselves. And he said that he's willing to die for this. And the GOP in Arizona said, he is, are you? ? You don't think that's insane? Listen to this. This is nuts. Kim Ward, she's the Republican majority leader in Pennsylvania, said the president called her to declare there was fraud in the voting, but she said she had not been shown the letter to Congress, which she pulled together hastily before its release. Right? And she was asked if she would sign it. She indicated the Republican base expected party leaders to back Mr. Trump's claim or face the wrath. She said, if I would say to you, I don't want to do it, I'd get my house bombed tonight. That's insane. The hell is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with people? I'm willing to die for this. If something was stolen and you prove it in court, and again, it's all about proof, right? Am I wrong? I feel like, well, there's plenty of proof. There's smoke right there. There's this. Everything that people show you, and you're like, well, that's not even proven in court. And when they go to court, they're not even talking about that because they know that's not real. And even though it's been debunked 50 times, even by people who are Republicans, it's still not enough. You're not trying to convince people who've not seen something with an open mind, no, this is really what it is. You're trying to convince people that have already bought it, who own it, who love it and won't let it go, that it's the greatest thing of all time, which is Trump, and that he could not be beaten, and that it had to be thievery. You're not stopping that person. You're not going to change their mind. Their belief system is built in. We need to look into some of these things because the way that some of this stuff was put together with the mail-in ballots, absolutely, is something that is very real that we need to look into. But at the end of the day, states are allowed to do what states do, which is run their own elections. And they did. And no matter how many times they go back to the well and say it was fraud, and then they check something and they say, well, no, it's not, and it's not good enough. And the people still buy it. Yeah, so there's some scary things going on out there, and people need to realize that some of these people are seriously troubled. And the threats on people's homes, the threats on people's lives, the anger and the vitriol, you are not going to convince that person otherwise that Trump wasn't cheated out of this election. You will not convince him. Come Monday, when the Electoral College gets together and votes, and then Joe Biden goes from being candidate Joe Biden to President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, people will still believe that it's baloney and that somewhere along the line that Trump is going to flip this thing around. You're not going to convince those people. It just isn't going to happen. And it's scary that you have people surrounding Jocelyn Benson's house in Michigan and showing up with guns and threatening, people's lives. It's nuts. It is. And to see this thing through, and here's the other thing, too. This isn't about the election security going forward. This is about Trump and Trump's election. That's it. It's about Trump and Trump's election, not about anything else. It's not like if Trump disappears from the spotlight and goes off to Mar-a-Lago and hits golf balls and jets around the world and you're not going to get people following up on this, which is what we should have looking at, because things that need to be looked at, those are going to take time, and they're fighting two races here. One is the race to really look at some of this stuff to see how we make it more secure, to stop it not only from potential fraud, but also from human error. And the second thing is the fact that many of these people, the minute this is over and that's done, they're going to give it up immediately, because it's not about the long term in our elections. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Your Twitter, tweet at us, text the program. Hello, Fresh. Of all of the freshes, hello's the bestest. America's #1 meal kit delivered right to your door. Sourced directly from the growers. Means like they go there, they choose all the stuff. Boom, there it is. It goes right from there. Like the whole farm to table kind of thing. Sourced directly from the growers. So HelloFresh takes it from there. Boom, out it goes to you. Contact-free delivered. America's #1 meal kit. 23 different recipes. Then you choose from them. So you get, low calorie, right? So maybe you're trying to take a few LBs off. It's going to be big in the new year, right? As we all reset ourselves, try to get rid of that COVID 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. Maybe family friendly. Or maybe you're a vegetarian. They've got it all for you. You get all the food delivered to you. Inside of there is all the food you need to put together amazing meals and the recipe cards, including pictures. And away you go. Within about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, you can go from the fridge to your belly. And it is awesome. Save too. Big time. 40% versus shopping at the grocery store, and cut down on food waste because it's portioned perfectly, about 25%. Go to HelloFresh.com right now. Save big. $80 off and free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson saves you $80 off and gets you free shipping. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. $80 off and free shipping for you. Chad Benson Show.
To be free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're ruining my life, man!
Yeah, you haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
It really can't be excused. Like, on paper, it's bad.
Olivia Jade Giannulli, daughter of Lori Loughlin and Massimo Giannulli, on Jada Pinkett Smith's Facebook show, Red Table Talk. her first ever interview about the college cheating scandal that sent both her parents to prison.
Also, I understand why people are angry, and I understand why people say hurtful things, and I would too if I wasn't in my boat.
She says it took her a while to realize the privilege that she and her family enjoy wasn't something afforded to most people, and Pinkett Smith's mom, Adrienne Banfield Norris, made it clear she wasn't on board with doing the interview in the first place.
It's bothersome to me on so many levels. Her being here is the epitome of white privilege to me.
Oh, settle down with your white privilege. She didn't want to go to school. Mom wanted her to go to school. Settle down with your white privilege. You know, when you turn everything into race, that's not good. Everything's about race. It's not about race. There's a hierarchy in everything that goes on. It's, you know what people do every day? They try to live their lives. Individuals. They try to live their lives. They wake up in the morning and they look around and they say, I gotta figure out how I'm going to put food on the table. I've got my job to do. I've got to get the kids to soccer. Well, not anymore. Now I've got to figure out what we're going to do because we've only got so much bandwidth and now everybody's at home doing school and you know, you're trying to figure out. And I'll be honest, I've never been a black man before. Never been a black woman either. Never identified as either of those. You know, just in case. There are a few of those out there in the past who've I've never. But you know what? You've never been me. There you go. So, and you make everything about white privilege or it's that stuff's insane. Just we've got to get past this stuff. But for some people, they this is what they live for. People over the weekend texted me about, you know, and tweeting at me about, you know, school and my brothers and stuff and how privileged they are to go to. And I'm like, my brothers are anything but privileged. They're privileged because of the fact that, you know, and by the way, my little brothers, because everybody looks at me, they're automatically, you're a white dude. And I just start laughing. I'm like, well, that's because of what you see. If you saw my family, you'd say, oh, really? I didn't know. My little brothers aren't white. They had all kinds of hot problems. And but the fact that you make snatch judgment on the color of somebody's skin and what you think that they believe is just as bad as what you're trying to accuse everybody of. This girl didn't even want to go to school. She was enjoying being an influencer. Her privilege is she's kind of a hottie. We got to get rid of that now. Privileged hotties. Get rid of that. Maybe they should make a safe space for only ugly people. This is where we can all come and just be ugly together. Just nuts. It's always her appearance. Well, I don't think it was her idea to come on the show. She probably didn't want to. So you invite me or invite somebody to tell them how bad. But that's why we are in the way that we are now, the culture clashes. That culture civil war that's going on. It's not a civil war we're going to grab guns and face each other. It's just not going to happen. But the cultural civil war is very real. We got to get past a lot of this crap. You know what? You can't move forward while you're looking backwards. You're going to find out you're going to run into a lot of crap. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The White House now has a new counteroffer, a $916 billion plan. It includes Democrats' demands for more state and local aid and those liability protections for businesses. That's the big sticking point for Republicans. But here's the thing. The latest plan from Republican leader Mitch McConnell would scrap those provisions, and Democrats this morning are rejecting the latest offer from the White House. They say it doesn't include enough unemployment insurance benefits. So talks continue, but no deal yet.
Talks continue, no deal yet. Coronavirus slowly but surely eating away the healthcare system, people's pocketbooks, people's homes, lives, dreams, education. It's time to get it done. Enough is enough. You guys need to figure it out right now. because there's too much of this.
Regions where the ICU capacity is falling below 15%, we are now mandating that we are implementing a stay-at-home order.
Not a shocker. That right there is Gavin Newsom. Of course, not just him, the governor of California, but nationwide. Governors are trying to figure out what they can do to stop this. And there's no great answer here. Not everybody's going to be happy. You want to keep stuff open because the economy needs to run. What happens? You're a pig. You're an awful human being. You just want to kill grandma and grandpa. That's all you care about is money. You close stuff. You are evil and bad, and you don't care if people become alcoholics, kill themselves, and lose everything. There's no win here. It's trying to walk the finest balance of giving people personal responsibility and at the same time having to check certain areas of the economy when it gets a bit too much. There's happy mediums. Well, we know the places that this place spreads. Do we now at this point? At this point, they're talking hospitals. This is one of the places it spreads. They're talking about homes as being a big spreader. But it's a lot of young people going out to bars, going out to nightclubs. You know what? Close the bars and nightclubs at 10 o'clock. And enforce that. But allow everybody else to start making choices. Well, why there, Chad? Well, everybody's going to have to give a little bit. Everybody does. We got to learn to give a little. That's what goes on in D.C. that never gets done. Nobody gives. Nobody wants to give an inch. Oh, my God, I would never give. I wouldn't want to give to anybody. I don't want to give an inch to them because then people on the social webs are going to yell at me. People who don't live in my district or don't live in my state are going to be mad at me. You give. Hey, we need this. Well, you're not going to get that. Well, this is what we need. What do you need? We need that. How about you give us this and we'll give you that? Okay. And we could do that. We want this. I don't think so. What do you guys want? We want this. Well, we can't give you all of that, and you're not going to give us all of this, but if you give us some of this, we'll give you some of that. It's negotiation. Apparently, they've never done this before. But that also goes with us. For now, it sucks. Nobody wants to be inside. It's not a hoax. It's not. Things should be open. You can wear a mask. But I'll be honest, I wear a mask that I don't think it does too much. It makes other people feel good, potentially. I bought it off the internet because it looks cool. It's a Santa Claus mask. Do I think it really stops anything? I'm going to give a hard pass on that. You see, the girls come in almost on a daily basis. They all have new masks that always match their outfits. Do I think that fashionably is stopping things from happening? Not so much. Does it stop a few things here and there? Potentially, yes. I think the biggest thing is we've social distance. It's hard to get sick when you're in another room from me. It's hard to get sick when I don't get anywhere near you and you don't get anywhere near me. But we've got to learn to give a little bit. And we're going to have to make a few sacrifices. But along the way, as we're taking people's livelihoods away or cutting it out their livelihoods, we have to figure out a way how we're going to, what? Help them along the way. Bridge the gap until we get the vaccine out there. Right now, all I see are people yelling, whining, moaning. Figure out what needs to be done. What are the absolute must-haves from you and you? And what are your wants? When you knock those two out, everything else is easy.
You're going to see a working document that can turn into a bill very quickly. But we've agreed in principle on what needs to be done. Everybody's working in good faith. I was so encouraged last night. So, yes, I think it's 100%. But I can tell you that there's not one senator or one congressperson that should go home for Christmas if it's not done. I don't know how you face the people that have lost rent, food assistance, shelter, the basic necessities of life. And we're going to say, well, we're going to go home and have a nice Christmas. Good luck.
Joe Manchin there. Good luck on that. Are they going to go home and have a nice Christmas? It's possible. Possible they get some stuff done. It's also possible they don't. We shall see. My big fear, though, and you guys know this if you listen to our show, is, and I like that they work together. Look, being bipartisan, there's a difference between hammering out a bill and being bipartisan. When they get really bipartisan, it just means that they figured out a way to spend everybody's money on all the things that they all wanted, and everybody's must-haves were included. And that's scary. This should be a targeted bill in the right way that moves us along and bridges the gap until we get through the next several weeks, and then we can decide if there needs to be more done, depending on how the vaccination is rolled out, how many people get it and don't get it, because I don't know that. I know what Biden would like to have done.
At least 100 million COVID vaccine shots into the arms of the American people in the first 100 days. 100 million shots in the first 100 days. That includes healthcare professionals, people in long-term care, and as soon as possible, it will include educators. This will be the most efficient mass vaccination plan in U.S. history. I credit everyone who's gotten us up to this point.
That's what he said. But how many people will get it? You're going to have a lot of people that are skeptical. You're going to have a lot of people that wait. You've even got doctors who are saying, you know what, you guys, wait a while.
Even 30 to 35% of physicians are telling patients at this point, maybe wait 6 months to see how these vaccines all unfold. I think we're going to be at a period in March and April where it's that last inch that we're going to fail at, the idea of getting the needle into the arm, because we have done nothing in this country to prepare the public for what these vaccines mean. We need to tell the story of their safety, of their efficacy, why they are what we need to do right now. I worry about that.
So we'll see. We'll see. Because we can have 100 million dosage, which is 50 million people, but if only 5 million people take it at the beginning, and slowly but surely a few get it here and a few get it there, and lo and behold, it's March or April and it's May, and then we look up and we've only, vaccinated 25% of America, and then you add in at least 10 to 15% of America that's probably already been exposed to it and or had it, whether they've had it where they felt it or they were asymptomatic, and so they've got some antibodies. You're in a position where at this point in time, that's still probably not going to get it done. And so we'll see. So it's not just whether or not we have it, it's whether or not we'll take it. That will be the real test. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Safe Harbor was yesterday. So, and because of that, YouTube now is taking down videos that question the validity of the election. They wanted to wait till get through Safe Harbor, but don't worry. Texas is still fighting the good fight.
The Supreme Court has denied a request from Pennsylvania Republicans who argued that millions of votes in the state have been unconstitutionally cast by mail. The court dismissed the case without hearing it. But another lawsuit is now headed to the court. The Attorney General of Texas is suing Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Wisconsin, claiming the changes those states made to their voting procedures during the pandemic are unlawful.
So, is there room to hear some of that stuff? Potentially. Will they hear it? That I don't know. That I do not know. Yesterday, it was just really quick. Alito and the Supreme Court. Alito was the one who wrote the one line, take that away, when it came to Pennsylvania. He and the other justices, they listened and talked for 30 minutes and decided not to hear the case. They'll probably hear or at least take this up faster than they have some of these other things that have been shot down because it is states versus states. But normally those have to do with things like water rights or property or things of that nature. So they don't like to get involved in politics, even though the court itself has become political, and it shouldn't be. So we'll see how this goes. But I don't know what the end game is here, because come Monday, you're going to have the Electoral College vote. So is this it? We're going to have more? I don't know. And if you still believe that Trump lost, I got zero problems with that. I got nothing to say to you at this point in time. Evidence. Like I say, take it to court. But if you believe he lost and you're serious about it, are you serious because Trump lost? Or are you serious about because you believe fraud will continue always and forever and you want to see this thing through till the end? Because there are two different things there. There are two separate things. One may take a year or two for the FBI and everybody to go through everything. The other one is on very limited time when it comes to Trump and this election. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Somebody just tweeted at me because we were talking about the alien spacecraft. And if you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to put it up. Of course, we were talking about the Israeli former, secretary of their space program who's saying, look, that Trump knows about aliens. Everybody knows about aliens that work in the high levels of government, that we've got an intergalactic, federation, that they've got bases in places like Mars where we're there, and they were waiting for us to become essentially strong enough and smart enough to have a comprehension of what they're all about. And there's a new picture that's out that's actually very interesting. I'll throw it up on Facebook. But what's been happening on the East Coast is they're supposedly, and again, take it for a grain of salt, believe it or don't believe it, supposedly they've had some issues with things that they have seen, and it's happened more on the East Coast than on the West Coast. And some of our U.S. fighter planes have taken some pictures with their iPhones of one thing that I don't know what it is, but it came out of the water apparently at supersonic speed, and it just hovered around them. And it is a trip. And these are pilots. This isn't some wacky, guy. This is a pilot taking a picture of something that you can't explain. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Rough Greens, amazing right now. They are giving you a bag for free. It's not going to cost you a penny. My dogs swear by it. It has improved their health tenfold. And all you have to do is go to roughgreens.com/Chad. They're going to send you a bag. You pay for shipping. That's it. They want to give you a month. You try it. See if you like it. It has helped my dogs tremendously. My puppies are healthy and happy, but my older dog, Doodle, is healthier than he's ever been since we've had him, and it's amazing. It's got vitamins, minerals, vegetables, probiotics, omega-3, 6, and 9. It is a supplement. You just sprinkle it on their food, and it brings their food to life, and it is amazing. Put it to the test. Try it. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad. Get your free bag of Rough Greens right now. You pay for shipping. It doesn't get any easier than that. It's a $30 value. It's free. Roughgreens.com/Chad. RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
What the hell are you doing?
A Lifetime original mini movie.
The cook? He has a secret recipe that's going to change the world.
Harlan claims to have some secret recipe.
A secret recipe? Spare me. Who the hell are you? Harlan Sanders, the new chef.
Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders in A Recipe for Seduction. Premieres December 13th at noon. Only on Lifetime. Presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally watching that. It's awful. It's 15 minutes. It's a mini movie. And it's fun. And people I posted, I was like, I got to watch this. And if you've not seen, so it's Mario Lopez, AC Slater, right? From Saved by the Bell, but now of all the Entertainment Tonight and all that other fame. He's like a young, he's wearing a medium shirt. It's a white button up, but it's only button up, halfway. And he's got the black bow tie, but it's kind of undone. And his hair, he's got a mustache like Harlan Sanders, but it's all salt and pepper. It's not all gray. He's got the glasses. And it's a 15-minute Kentucky Fried Chicken funny little mini thing. And the recipe is seduction. And I said, people jump on me. How could you watch this? How could you? Because it's 15 minutes of stupid and relaxation. It's 15 minutes of not thinking about things. Stop taking yourself so seriously in so many of these things. Because the same people that send me that stuff are the same people that, they're only focused on one thing. And whatever that thing is, it's the most serious thing in the history of their world. And to even suggest that you would watch something mindless and we need mindless and stupid every once in a while. And the reason's pretty simple. Because there's a lot of stuff that we could focus on that's negative. I don't do the negative. I just don't. I don't doom scroll. I don't watch negative stuff. I don't let that stuff get to me. I talk about stuff, but I'm going to be honest about it because it's what I do. But I'm going to try to do everything I can to put a spin on it that's real, but I'm going to be very real with you. But I don't put negative in it all the time. I just can't. My job is to look at a lot of stuff that's negative. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There are things that because of my job, that I have seen that I will never, ever, ever forget. As much as I want to. You can't unsee some of it. And there's things in life that you never want to forget. And some you'd love to. Every once in a while, it's good to find something that's stupid and silly and take your mind off stuff. It's good for the soul. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Idaho's Central Health District was beginning its meeting on tap possible mask mandates and limiting gatherings to under 10 people. But like seen elsewhere, angry protesters went to the board members' offices and their homes, banging on their front doors. Board members say they had children at home.
There are protesters at my house, so I'm going to step off for just a moment to call the police because my kids are there.
Idaho's governor called the protesters' actions reprehensible, saying free speech should not be used to intimidate. The meeting was put on hold. One person was arrested.
Yeah, and this was nothing to do with the election. This is about IDs and vaccinations. What? Yeah, that's what this one was about. IDs and vaccinations. Should you get vaccinated? Should you have to have an ID? Will some employers ask you to get an ID, which is potentially, I guess, something, but the proof of vaccination.
It's going to be difficult to navigate in society without having the vaccine, so it's going to become a matter of course. But yes, there is a likelihood that you may be required in certain instances to take the vaccination or to show proof of the vaccination.
Oh, my God. Now, I'm getting it. I don't care if you do or don't. That's a you thing. It's not a me thing. It's a you. You want to get it great. You don't want to get it great. I'm going to get it. What if they make you carry something that says, look, if nobody wants to get it and I get to go to a movie theater by myself, I'm not going to bitch about that. But the thought process, and Dan Abrams talked about, places that may require you to have vaccinations to even get into establishments.
If it's a private stadium or an airline where they're going to simply say, sorry, you can't use our facility. You can't come here. You can't ride our plane unless you have been vaccinated. It's possible to also say unless you've had a test within a certain amount of time. But that's the place where I expect it to happen first. The last place is probably going to be governments.
Yeah, and the government may require you in some instances. They have the ability to potentially require you to get a vaccine. How is that possible? Because it's government, and in the health side of things, they've got a situation where they can override, in some cases, the Constitution for the betterment of the public.
I don't think you're going to see any government action unless there was full FDA approval. And even then, it would be local governments And even then, I don't expect it to happen, although it has happened in the past with regard to smallpox and measles. We have seen local governments require vaccines.
I don't know if that will happen or won't. I doubt it. But when it comes to, if you want to go see a concert and stuff, we've talked about that. That's a possibility. Same thing for work. And then on top of that, though, you've also got situations where is it better for the employer to entice, dangle? Here's a couple days off if you get this. Here's a $500 bonus if you get both shots. That's a possibility as well. And there's going to be some people that will have exemptions.
An employee may ask for an accommodation under either the Americans with Disabilities Act, asserting that they have some medical condition that prevents them from being vaccinated, or they might claim an exemption under Title VII, claiming that they have a sincerely held religious belief that would prevent them from being vaccinated. That's
Attorney Helen Rella right there. So I don't know what's going to take place, but know this, that once we get through this and we get through the fight of the stimulus and we start to build ourselves back up and get into what we hope will be calmer waters, just like with the election, there's always going to be something else in this bizarre world that we live in now where everything is extreme on both ends and moments. This will be the next situation. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Texas is in a lawsuit, suing all kinds of stuff, telling everybody don't mess with us.
We don't like people messing with Texas, and other states are not going to like having Texas mess with them. The states are responsible for running the ways in which votes happen in each of their jurisdictions.
So they filed lawsuit, and today Trump has joined in with that, saying this is the big one. He says he's intervening, and this is the one. This is the one that will apparently do what the other ones didn't do. So they're suing 4 states, saying that the way that they handled their elections was wrong, that it violated even their laws. And this would be Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. And they're hoping that the Supreme Court will block their electoral college votes, which meets on Monday to vote. And I don't know if they're going to get that done or not. I couldn't tell you what the SCOTUS is going to do. They don't keep me abreast of things. But I don't think it's going to happen, because you're asking them to essentially void millions of Americans' votes and the will of the people. Well, it's fraud, but you haven't proved fraud at anything. Now you're going after, well, they didn't do their election correctly. And so we'll see if they even take the case. Because by the sounds of it, this is Trump's last gasp to hold on to power. And I don't even know if he really wants to hold on. I'll be honest with you. I'm not quite sure he's dying to do this job for another 4 years. I do not believe that he's itching to do this again for another 4 years. And I wouldn't blame him. After the way they treated him, and as bad as he has been at times, that's been a hell of a ride. And for him and his family, and they've put people through hell. He's been put through hell. I think we need a break. It's like one of those relationships where, like, I think we're toxic. I think we're good people, but I think we need a break. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Now imagine this, if you would, kids. Okay? Many of you out there who have kids. I have a 10-year-old, right? If he did this, I'd be a little pissed. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Be a little pissed. At least he took the right vehicle, or they took the right vehicle.
Home on 115th Street in South Ozone Park, where 2 children were reported missing this morning at 9 a.m. Investigators say they checked surveillance footage, and it showed the cousins, a 12-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl, getting inside the family's white Range Rover after the boys took the keys and took off. Neighbors incredulous.
First of all, that's very brave to even get behind a car at 12. I don't know what's going on. Maybe some family issues. I don't know what it is. If it's a joyride, that's not safe at all.
But if it's family issues, it's fine. They're kids. And they jumped in a Range Rover.
Police used Easy Pass and license plate readers to track the vehicle on the Verrazano Bridge around 11 this morning. Then New Jersey State troopers spotted the SUV at one point, flashing its sirens, but the boy hit the gas and took off. Police eased off the pursuit for the safety of the kids. At 2:15, the 12-year-old used his dad's credit card to buy cookies at a rest stop. The credit card was flagged and the kids were apprehended. They were taken into custody and are now safe.
Taken into custody on a cruise. Can you imagine that? Like, I think we all had. My sister did this. She took my. Now, it wasn't a Range Rover. She took my mom's crappy Corolla, but she was probably 12, and she took it for a joyride. And her and a couple of her friends. And I remember I was home from England, and so I'd only been home a couple of days, and I still had jet lag, and I was up at weird times, and I was visiting my family. I was going to be there for not very long, maybe a couple weeks, and I'm asleep, or like I'm in my room, and I just remember I hear the car start. It's like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I've been home literally for 24 hours, so I'm wide awake because to me it's still like 9 in the morning, and I'm like, what the hell? And I look outside, and I'm like, that's weird. So I go down to my mom's room in the hall. I said, Mom, you here? I go, Mom, I think somebody stole your car. She's, what? Yeah. And then we went and looked at my sister's room, and she was gone because she was kind of already having issues. So, boom, we waited up and all this stuff, and we didn't know where they'd went. And she got home a few hours later, and my mother's front end of her car was destroyed. And apparently, she hit a Porsche. She had issues. These kids had issues as well. And I wonder why they did it.
And there is some indication that this all may have started due to a social media challenge. Now, the 7-year-old boy may have been taking part of the drive until you run out of gas challenge, where you take a car and then you drive until you run out of gas.
I think that was kind of, you need to explain, and we kind of get what that was about. My sister did it because she was a hot mess. She was showing off and hanging out with friends that she should have been hanging out with, and man, drive, now that's what it is. Drive until you run out of gas challenge. What is that? Well, you drive until you run out of gas. Oh, explain that to me. That's where we are, though. Social media, that's the new challenge. Drive until you run out of gas. And here's the thing. More often than not, what you guys don't realize, but many of you who understand this, these challenges that people throw out there, a lot of times they're challenges done by people who set something up to look like a certain thing, and it really isn't, and then people think it's neat, especially kids, and they redo it. It's, wow. They were up to 100 miles an hour. That is nuts. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us and text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Car Shield gives you 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for you. Should something happen to your car and you have to take it to the shop, you choose the shop. They get them paid directly. Holidays, extremely busy. People traveling, people doing all kinds of things, even though they're telling us don't. But the reality is you're still worried like everybody else about that check engine light that comes on your car, and you don't have any way to protect yourself from cover repairs. That's where Car Shield comes in. Saves you thousands of dollars upon thousands of dollars for those cover repairs, and gives you the opportunity to choose that mechanic, and gives you a rental car, which also saves you time and headache and money, and it is awesome. When the car's got 5,000 or 150,000 miles, Car Shield has the plan that's right for you. Plans start as low as $99 a month. Over 1 million drivers have been helped by Car Shield. They're America's #1 auto protection company. Do what I did. Drive with confidence, knowing that if anything's happened, you're protected. Car's protected. Your wallet's protected. That's what I'm talking about. Call 800-665-2157. Mention code Benson or visit carshield.com. Carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
If you like talk radio like Chad Benson likes his meals, you've come to the perfect place for takeout.
Jake Paul is, he is a He's a YouTuber, him and his brother Logan. He's also a boxer, and he takes the sport semi-serious, and it's interesting to watch people who know like MMA and boxing. They talk about the fact that, for all the yap that these guys do, and they're always doing something where they're getting themselves in trouble, and they're the kind of thing where you look at YouTubers and say, ugh. So he boxed a couple weeks ago with Nate Robinson, former NBA slam dunk champion, and so they got into the ring, and they were in the undercard of the Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. fight, and he knocked Nate out quick. Knocked him out stupid, too. So he was on the Vice with, so Vice has their new thing of Kerry Champion and Jamel Hill. And they said they were laughing about this, and I did feel it kind of that way. But this is what they said to him. Remember, it's a boxing match, and it's a real boxing. It was sanctioned, so it's no headgear. This isn't some of these things. They trained. This is a real boxing match, and they asked him this:
was it racist to knock a black man out? That is the question of the week.
Stop asking me that. I said no.
It's not racist.
It's a shitty question. It's a sport.
Why is it a shitty question?
Because how does this have anything to do with race? It doesn't.
It's a fine question. We got to wake you up. You got to be a part of this conversation. That's right.
So, was it racist to not? And I think they were kind of poking fun at it, messing with it. And Jake and Logan, this is what they do. I think Logan, one of them got arrested out here during the Black Lives Matter, George Floyd thing. They were doing something stupid in Scottsdale. They're always doing something stupid. And now the next thing apparently is he's going to fight. I think he's going to fight Mayweather. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. It's going to be but was it real? Yeah, of course it wasn't real. These women know sports. I mean, they're woke. Don't get me wrong, but there's some people out there who think, yeah, it probably was racist. No, you're in a boxing ring. That's what happens. The whole goal in boxing is to knock the other guy out. It's the whole goal in boxing. That's kind of what people are doing when they're in there, is to knock the other guy out. Speaking of a knockout, let me tell you guys something. Do you guys remember yesterday? Santa Claus, little boy, right? Asking Santa for a gun.
What? No guns. Nerf guns. No, not even a Nerf gun. No, if your dad wants to get it for you, that's fine, but I can't bring it to you.
Apparently Santa's unfamiliar with how this works. And by the way, she pointed out it was a Nerf gun, just so that Santa didn't recognize that it's a Nerf gun.
Well, what else would you like? Lots of other toys. There's Legos, there's bicycles.
Didn't ask for those. And he starts crying. He has since resigned / fired. Another Santa went over, did the right thing. And woke Santa. But, it got me thinking, there are some serious issues here. Because too often you have people that decide that they know what's better for you and your kids when it comes to Nerf gun, and they want to take away your privilege and right to own Nerf guns in this country. It is our God-given Nerf right. So I put together a brand new organization. It will be a nonprofit to protect Nerf rights. So they want to ban or limit all access to your high-capacity Nerf guns and take away your God-given Second Amendment Nerf rights? Well, no nerfing way, buddy. Give them an inch and they'll legislate your Nerf gun ownership to death. Meanwhile, rock stars, social media influencers, drug cartels, psychopaths, and out-of-control 6-year-olds on a wild sugar high can simply buy a Nerf gun on the black market along with gummy bears and chocolate-covered boogers. That's why we formed the Nerf Rifle Association, to protect your right to defend yourself anytime, anywhere, from alien invasions, made-up monsters, and their friends. With bright, multicolored soft foam projectiles, they are as much fun to squeeze as they are to shoot at mom and dad. Here at Nerf Rifle Association, we stand by our motto, which is, you can have my crazy, wacky Nerf Zuka when you pry it from my tiny child-sized hands. The Nerf Rifle Association. Give us liberty, or give us Nerf.
Nerf Rifle Association takes no responsibility for Nerf accidents, deaths, schoolyards, monkey bar shootouts, sandbox rumbles, or broken knickknacks.
Join! Doesn't cost a penny, and it's a lot of fun. Wrapping it up. This is our week. We'll be back on Monday. Take a few days off. Craig Collins will be in for me. You guys have a blessed, wonderful rest of your week and weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be kind to one another. We'll do it again. Night, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.